play that Davante Adams can provide you.
I can't let anybody outdo me in my house.
Adams over his shoulder, walks into the end zone. Going deep, has his man, has Adams. Touchdown.
Is Davante Adams what the Jets need? Welcome to American Baller, where we focus on all things NFL. Don't forget to subscribe and ring that bell for future videos. Davante Adams is making waves in 2024, and now he's suiting up in green for the New York Jets. With Aaron Rodgers not in his best form, the arrival of Adams might be what they need to kick in the next gear. But still, the one question on every fan and even pundits' mind is Davante Adams what the Jets need? Who is Davante Adams? Davante Adams is not just your average wide receiver, he's an absolute game changer. Over his 10 seasons in the NFL, Adams has consistently proven himself as one of the most dominant forces in the league. Standing at 6'1" and weighing 215 pounds, he combines size, speed, and precision in route running that's simply hard to match. Adams first made waves with the Green Bay Packers after being drafted in the second round in 2014. Teaming up with Aaron Rodgers, he quickly became one of the league's top wideouts. His impeccable hands and ability to create separation made him a favorite target, and by 2020, Adams led the NFL in receiving 18 touchdowns. What really sets Adams apart, though, is his versatility. Whether he's lining up in the slot or out wide, he can beat defenders with quick slants, deep routes, or contested catches. Even when he's double covered, he finds a way to make plays. 2024 season, redemption and recalibration. Davante Adams' 2024 season is all about proving doubters wrong and silencing the noise surrounding his career. After a tumultuous 2023 campaign filled with rumors about his dissatisfaction with the Las Vegas Raiders and constant trade talk, Adams bounced back in a big way. Despite the uncertainty surrounding the Raiders' quarterback situation, Adams has remained the one constant, putting up impressive numbers. Adams continued to showcase his elite route running and clutch playmaking ability, helping the Raiders stay competitive. He was the glue holding the offense together, especially with injuries hitting their backfield. Drama-wise, it wasn't a smooth ride. Early in the season, Adams had a cryptic tweet that fueled speculation he was eyeing an exit from Las Vegas. But after a decisive midseason win against Kansas City, Adams shut down trade rumors during a post-game interview stating, "I'm focused on what I can control. We've got a season to win here." He kept his focus on the field, showing that he still has the speed, separation ability, and hands to be one of the top receivers in the game. Now let's look at his key stats for 2024. This season he has made 18 receptions, made receiving yards of 209, plus 1 touchdown. 2023 season, a season for frustration meets greatness. The 2023 season was rough for Adams, but it also proved he was an elite wideout no matter the chaos around him. The Raiders' quarterback carousel was the headline, with Jimmy Garoppolo starting the season but battling injuries and inconsistency. Adams made it clear that while he valued playing with a solid quarterback, he wasn't gonna let bad QB play ruin his season. He hauled in 100 receptions, but frustration was visible. There were moments where Adams looked visibly annoyed on the field, particularly after missing out on key targets in the end zone. One of the most memorable moments came in Week 9 when Adams was seen slamming his helmet after being overthrown on what would have been a surefire 60-yard touchdown against the Lions. Fans speculated Adams might demand a trade mid-season, especially after a post-game press conference where he said, "I don't know what the plan is here, but it's frustrating to be out there giving everything and not seeing results." Despite the drama, Adams remained productive, finishing the season with 1,310 yards and 8 touchdowns, proving he can thrive even in subpar offensive conditions. His ability to beat double teams and create yards after the catch remained among the best in the league. Off the field, Adams didn't hide his feelings about the Raiders' direction, but remained a professional and didn't let it affect his performance on the field. Here's a close look at his key stats for the 2023 NFL season. Receptions, 100. Receiving yards, 1,310. Touchdowns, 8. 2022 season, new beginnings, same dominance. 2022 was supposed to be the season that reconnected Adams with his old college quarterback Derek Carr and bring the Raiders back to their former glory. Unfortunately, things didn't go exactly as planned. Carr struggled with inconsistency, and by the end of the season, he was no longer the team's starter. Adams, however, was as reliable as ever. The chemistry between Carr and Adams from their Fresno State days was evident early on. In Week 1, Adams put up a jaw-dropping 141 receiving yards and a touchdown, reminding everyone why he was worth the trade. He continued this dominance throughout the season, racking up 1,516 yards and 14 touchdowns. But as the season progressed, the Raiders' playoff hopes dwindled and Carr's inconsistency became a glaring issue. Off the field, Adams found himself in the middle of one of the most bizarre incidents of the year. After a Week 5 loss to the Kansas City Chiefs, Adams shoved a cameraman in frustration while heading to the locker room. The moment went viral with mixed reactions from fans and the media. Adams later issued an apology, calling it a moment of frustration, but he was hit with a fine and a brief legal issue as the cameraman filed charges. Despite the drama, Adams ended the season with All-Pro honors, once again establishing himself as one of the best wide receivers in the game. Here are the key stats for 2022. Receptions, 110. Receiving yards, 1,516. Touchdowns, 14. Through all the highs and lows, Adams remained a dominant force, consistently putting up elite numbers and keeping himself in the conversation for best receiver in the NFL, no matter what obstacles came his way. College days, Fresno State's superstar. Adams was an absolute force at Fresno State. His 2 seasons in college were enough to show the world that he was destined for NFL greatness. As a redshirt freshman in 2012, Adams made an immediate impact, leading the nation with 102 receptions, 1,312 yards, and 14 touchdowns. The next year, he stepped up even more, finishing with an absurd 131 catches, 1,719 yards, and 24 touchdowns, leading the nation in both categories. His 2013 campaign was legendary, with Adams forming a deadly connection with Derek Carr. In the Mountain West Championship game, Adams had a clutch performance with 9 receptions for 168 yards, propelling Fresno State to victory. By the time he declared for the NFL draft, Adams had broken nearly every receiving record at the school and was already seen as a future NFL star. High school, Palo Alto's hidden gem. Before he was torching NFL defenses, Adams was dominating at Palo Alto High School. As a senior, he was a standout on both the football field and basketball court. In football, Adams racked up 64 receptions, 1,094 yards, and 12 touchdowns, leading his team to a CIF state championship in 2010. His athleticism wasn't limited to football. He was also a star on the hardwood, averaging double figures in scoring. Despite his success, Adams wasn't heavily recruited by major football programs, largely flying under the radar. His underdog mentality and work ethic helped him earn a spot at Fresno State, where he continued his upward trajectory. What Adams brings to the Jets. First off, he brings credibility. The Jets have lacked a truly elite wide receiver in recent years, someone who consistently performs at an all-pro level. Adams fills that void and then some. His presence alone forces defenses to adjust, opening up opportunities for other Jets receivers like Garrett Wilson and Mecole Hardman to thrive. In fact, Wilson has commented that having Adams around takes some pressure off, giving the offense more room to breathe. Then there's his work ethic. Adams is known for being one of the hardest working players in the NFL. Whether it's studying film, refining his craft in practice, or mentoring younger players, he's a professional through and through. This kind of influence can be contagious on a young team like the Jets, who are still trying to figure out what it takes to reach the upper echelon of NFL success. But what about the Jets' needs? The team came into 2024 with high hopes, especially after acquiring Aaron Rodgers in the offseason. They were looking to make a deep playoff run, but those plans hit a major roadblock when Rodgers went down with an Achilles injury in the first game of the season. Since then, the Jets' offense has struggled to find consistency, with Zach Wilson filling in at quarterback. A tough question to answer. This is where the big question lies. Is Davante Adams the missing piece that can push the Jets into playoff contention despite their QB woes? On one hand, the answer seems like an easy yes. Adams is a game changer. His ability to make contested catches, run precise routes, and draw attention from defenses makes him a massive asset, especially for a team that's lacked offensive firepower. His veteran presence could help stabilize the offense and bring some much-needed poise to a unit that's been anything but consistent. However, it's hard to ignore the fact that the Jets' issues run deeper than just their receiving core. The offensive line has been shaky, and Zach Wilson, while improved, is still far from an elite quarterback many hoped he would become. Adams can only do so much without consistent quarterback play and protection up front. If the Jets can't figure out these other areas, even a player as talented as Adams might not be enough to turn the season around. Still, the Jets clearly believe Adams is a part of the solution, not the problem. His impact is undeniable. The Jets have been dealing with a lot of issues when it comes to their receivers aside from Garrett Wilson. Veteran receiver Allen Lazard is among the top in the league for dropped passes, and Mike Williams in his first year with the team has struggled to click with Aaron Rodgers. In fact, in their last 2 losses to the Vikings and Bills, both games ended with interceptions on passes meant for Williams. Green Bay 2.0. Bringing in Davante Adams could be a game changer. Adams is Rodgers' all-time favorite target, and together, they broke several records during their time with the Packers. While it's been a few years since they last played together, their chemistry should still be there. If Adams delivers as expected, not only will Wilson and the rest of the receiving core step up, but the Jets might finally have what it takes to snap their 13-year playoff drought. As we circle back to the original question, is Davante Adams what the Jets need? Well, the answer isn't as straightforward as it seems. Adams is undoubtedly one of the most talented and accomplished wide receivers in the NFL. His presence elevates any offense. But the Jets' problems go beyond just needing a star wide receiver. Their quarterback situation remains uncertain, and their offensive line needs serious improvement. While Adams can make plays and draw attention away from other receivers, he's not a magic fix for the Jets' bigger issues. That said, adding a player of Adams' caliber certainly helps the Jets stay competitive, and if they can address some of their other weaknesses, he could be the piece that pushes them over the top. In the end, Adams might not be the only thing the Jets need, but he's certainly a big step in the right direction. In the end, Davante Adams brings undeniable talent, leadership, and experience to the Jets, but is he enough to single-handedly solve their offensive struggles? While his presence has already started to make an impact, it's clear that other areas like quarterback consistency and offensive line stability need to improve for the Jets to truly capitalize on Adams' abilities. So, is Adams the missing piece, or just part of a larger puzzle? We've given you all the stats and storylines, but what do you think? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. Thank you for tuning in to American Baller. Don't forget to subscribe and ring that bell for future videos.